What's up, everybody? We're in Adamsville, Alabama. This is just west of the city of Birmingham, and we're going to be here speaking with Shaun Dozier. Shaun, I love his story because a lot of y'all come to me and say, how do I get started in real estate? I got a full-time job, or I got this excuse, and I got that excuse, I got this going on. Shaun, you have a full-time job.
Right.
He works with Honda out in Lincoln, Alabama. And just talk about that. I think that's what a lot of people are going to want to know right off the bat. How do you have a full-time job that's demanding? You're married, you got kids, you have all these demands of life,
right.
But you also have been very successful at real estate for going on 10 years now?
Yeah, 10 years.
Yes. Yeah, so just kind of tell us, how do you even do that?
Well, I first started off building my team, and I just put the right people in place to replace me, so I wouldn't have to be on the job site or at the properties all the time. So that's the main thing that kind of helped me with putting systems in place.
Yeah. So how does someone who's holding down a full-time job, has the family demands that you do, just took a vacation too,
Oh, yeah.
So you got lots of stuff going on. How do you even get into real estate? How do you know that real estate? Well, why was real estate important to you in the beginning?
Well, it was important because even as a kid, I was always interested in real estate. I wanted a house. I was so in love with houses. So growing up, I grew up in, public housing. So I only had family members that had actually single family houses. So I kind of fell in love with it that way. And I always knew, like, one day I'm going to own some real estate. Mm-hmm. So even with having my job, I wanted to build, generational wealth, wanted to build passive income. And that was my why to, get into real estate.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up North Birmingham area.
Okay.
Downtown, and I kind of moved around the city of Birmingham. That's why I know the area so much. We kind of bounced around a lot.
Mm-hmm. What was it like growing up? What was your childhood like?
It was like, it was a fun childhood, but like I said, we come up in poverty, so, projects and Section 8 housing. So, it was still a very interesting childhood. But,
well, I guess what I'm asking, there's a lot of folks that, I had a challenging, right, background, as a kid, kind of growing up in a lot of poverty as well. And some kind of make that decision in their mind that, hey, you know what, I don't want this. I don't want this for the rest of my life.
Right.
And then some kind of stay in it, and because they don't really know any better, and they just kind of stay in it. What do you think it was about you specifically as you're growing up to make you make that decision that, I don't want this life for me when I grow up? What do you feel like was that kind of catalyst for you?
Changing the mindset, or just learning and changing my mindset of everybody that was around me. I learned I had a certain mindset. So it was more so for me, growth. Like, how can I grow? How can I come out of this? I want more. I want more for my family one day. I want more for my kids.
Yeah.
So that was my mindset.
For sure. I think a lot of it's mindset. But how do you, maybe as a kid, or maybe as a teenager, or maybe in high school, how do you even know that that's what's going on for you? Like, how did you know that you needed to change your mindset?
Well, I was always ambitious, and I had a drive, I had a hustle. So I always came up, I was determined, like, to get out and make money, to do different things. Got my first job at 16, and, just started saving money. I started buying cars, selling cars. I started buying clothes, selling shoes, and I pretty much sold all kind of things. So I was just always an entrepreneur, and I just kept ramping up. Okay, what can I do next? Mm-hmm. What can I do next? And when I found out about real estate, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that was very interesting to me. So that was my first step into learning about real estate.
So it's almost like the next thing to flip. You're sitting there trying to get this and flip this and flip
Yeah.
this. You all always had that entrepreneurial mindset. What led you to getting a job at Honda? Just getting a normal job? Because
Yeah.
that's not an entrepreneur job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a job.
Just a job. Yeah. So I was in college. I took up, you know, industrial maintenance. So kind of first seen my first robot and automations. And so I knew the future was kind of going towards, you know, robotics in the future. So I was kind of interested in that too. So I got the job at Honda, became, you know, robotic engineer, technician. So I've been doing that for like 8 years. I mean, 18 years.
Oh, wow.
18 years now.
Wow. That's all with Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. So as you're going through college, was it ever like, well, why did you decide to go to college in the first place? Because you're doing all this entrepreneurial stuff,
Yeah.
I guess, in high school as a kid growing up. What made you decide to even go to college?
I went just trying to learn different things. I didn't stay long. I figured out it wasn't for me. So
College was not for you?
Yeah, it wasn't for
Okay.
me. So I stayed about a year, and then I got out, just went back to doing what I was doing, buying and selling, and got a job working at Honda. And so just been doing that ever since.
And you just worked your way up through Honda that whole time? And so you learn about real estate. Take me back to the beginning of real estate for you. Do you remember the first house you bought? Do you remember the first property, the first deal you did?
Yeah, the first deal. So first deal I did was a house in Center Point. I still own a house to today. It's a rental property. So let me back up for a minute. So I joined the education program called Fortune Builder, where I took a big investment out of my savings and I invested into my education on real estate. And I learned how to wholesale, I learned how to flip, I learned how to buy rental property without using my own money. So after I took that investment and started that education, I went driving for dollars one day. I saw a sign in the yard that a realtor had for sale. I called her. She told me the house was in probate. I didn't kind of know anything about probate. I guess that's why didn't nobody want it. It took me 8 months to close that deal.
Because it was going through the probate process.
Through the probate process. The guy had passed away and left it to his brother that lived in another state. So it took 8 months to go through that process, but I wanted my first deal so bad I waited on it. I ended up closing on that deal. I did a light renovation on it, and I did the BRRRR method on it. I bought it, renovated it, rented it out.
And then did you refinance it?
And I refinanced it. I pulled my money that I put in that deal back out, used that money to go on my next property. And I kind of like rinse and repeat.
What year was it? How long ago was this?
That was 2016.
16. So 9 years ago,
Right.
You bought a house. How did you fund that house?
I used a hard money lender to fund it. And once I renovated and refinanced, I paid off his loan and pulled my money back out of the deal. And then I rented it out.
So for folks who don't know, I think a lot of folks who watch this channel do know, but for just the few that may not know, like, talk to me about a hard money lender. Like how did you know to even get a hard money? Why didn't you use a bank? What is a hard money lender?
Okay, well, hard money lender is someone they can get the deal done very fast. So I learned that with the education program that I signed up with. They told us don't go to banks, go to private lenders or hard money lenders. You can get the deal done fast, and just a smoother process. So that's why I went that route.
So you probably might pay a little bit more interest?
You pay a little bit more interest.
Now, did you have to come to the table with anything down?
Yeah, I had to put I think back then it was like about $10,000 to $12,000 down on it.
Okay. So you're coming out of your own pocket for $10,000 to $12,000, right. And then they come and close on the rest of the property. What about the rehab money? You said you did a light rehab.
Yeah, they funded the rehab and the purchase price.
And the purchase. So you just had to come to the table with around $10,000 to $12,000 down payment. And so once you get it renovated, you rent it out,
right? And
then you go to a traditional bank.
Yeah, you go to a small bank or a traditional bank, and you can refinance at a lower interest rate.
And for longer term debt.
For longer term, yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of debt did you put on it? Do you remember the interest rate? Do you remember how long the term was and things like that?
Yeah, when I first refinanced, I took out, I pulled out 15,000 back out of it on a 30-year.
So give us the numbers. Like you bought it for how much? Do you remember?
I bought it for 55,000.
Okay.
I put about maybe 12 grand in it back then. So when I refinanced it, it went up. I had a lot of equity in it. The house had appraised for a lot more. So I borrowed 15,000 back off of that.
On top of what it cost to pay off the loan.
Yeah, I paid off my loan. I think my loan was like 70,000 on it or something like that.
And then you got a new,
70, yeah.
You got a new loan on it for around 85-ish.
Right.
And so you were able to pull money back out and then pay yourself back.
Yeah, I paid myself back.
And so you got a little bit extra, but now you got long-term debt on it, 30-year probably, maybe a 15-year. And so, and you're holding this property to this day.
Yeah, still holding.
And that property's worth, you think, how much today?
I got it appraised 2 years ago. It appraised for 180.
So it's no longer worth 80 or 90 or 100. It's almost doubled in value in the last 9 years. So is there anything you can do with that equity in the meantime?
Oh yeah, I can refinance it again, pull the equity out to reinvest in another property if I wanted to.
Are you doing that, or would you do something like that?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So a lot of folks call that ROE. We hear about ROI a lot, return on investment, but we don't hear a lot of people talking about return on equity. So when you've got 50% loan to value now, the loan is around 85 or roughly, but it's worth now 180, 190. There's almost $100,000 worth of equity there that you could put a line of credit against. You could refinance it, like you said, and pull money out and use that money to get a return on that equity to go invest it in something else.
Oh yeah.
So catch us up to date, Shaun. Like, where are you today? Like, so that was back in 2016. What have you done since then?
Since then, I've been kind of doing flips, wholesale, and buying rentals all at the same time.
Okay.
So since then, I've done about 15 flips. I've done about 10 wholesales and own 5 rental properties.
You got 5 rentals today. What's your long-term goal with all this?
Long-term, I want to get 20 doors or more. My long-term goal.
Okay.
So I haven't been moving at a real fast pace, but I've been kind of consistent. Slow and steady winning the race. So I've been steadily going over the years, progress.
Now, Shaun, a lot of people say, look, I got a job and I hate my job and I want to replace my income with real estate. That doesn't sound like that's you. It sounds like you like your job.
Well, I am replacing my income, but I just haven't took off from the job yet, just as yet. I want to build more doors first. So my job, actually, I kind of use my job as leverage too.
For sure. With banks.
With banks, because if they see you got a W-2 job, you got 401k plans, they use that as, as leverage. You can use that to get funded and do more deals.
For sure.
As income.
Yeah, as soon as you quit that job and you don't have that W-2, the banks aren't going to like that very much, unless your rental income is so much. So how much? What's your long-term plan? What are you going to retire anytime soon? What do you want to get 20 rentals?
My goal is I'm thinking about 2 or 3 more years.
2 or 3 more years. So you're going to go from 5 to 20 in 2 or 3 more years.
That's my goal.
That's awesome.
That's my goal.
No, that's awesome. Well, Shaun, thank you for taking the time with me to kind of take us through your story. I think your story, hopefully it'll help a lot of folks. It's inspiring to me for sure. Hopefully it's going to inspire others. Guys, stay tuned. We're actually going to do a walkthrough of a property that we're at over here at Adamsville that Shaun has that he's going to maybe turn into a rental, maybe turn into a flip. Stay tuned. We're going to ask him about that.